how do you consider weak mentality?
Weak mentality is not admitting your faults. What I experienced with sometimes with students, they did something wrong, you know. Maybe they got angry, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
They did something, or they shouted at someone, or they hurt someone, and when you talk to them one-on-one, respectfully, and you say, hey man, like this was not okay, and then they don't admit it. They will say maybe sorry, but I think I was right. You know, this is something I encountered multiple times, and stuff like that is quite hard to work with that if they're not willing to admit, you know. It's like, or they're never wrong in their book, you know, like no one is perfect. I'm not perfect. I make mistakes. Everyone makes mistakes. So if you can just admit to that, I think that is already a right step, you know, in the right direction. And then sometimes people, this is quite
Narcissism,
difficult.
basically.
Yes,
Okay.
yes, exactly, yeah.
Okay, now
But I feel like calling a person a narcissist is quite a
strong.
bad, yeah.
It's way too strong.
Yeah.
But okay, so if you look over to your students and you call them out on their wrongdoings,
Yes.
so who looks over you?
Good question. Well, also, I do also have people who look over me. So, for example, my other coaches, right? We have a team of coaches. They also chime in. It's like, hey, Jasper, I think we should do this different. They will call out, you know, they will call it out to me like it is. And I really appreciate them for it.
That's good.
And not only my coaches, also the board of our Jiu Jitsu Federation, right? So yeah, that's a good question. And I think that's also important. Because sometimes what happens with people in power, that they can get blinded by that, you know?
I think so.
Yeah, this happens a lot as well. And, you know, again, they're humans. So it's also a natural thing to happen. But if you can come back from that, I think that's important. Yeah.
Can you name some instances where you caught yourself doing something
Ooh, good question.
I guess, wrong in the jiu-jitsu book? Or you might have maybe have not caught on?
Sure. I mean, maybe an easy example is in a competition. When I make a wrong call, when I challenge it, but I should have waited, or it was the wrong challenge, or, you know, decisions you make. You send an athlete to a training camp, and maybe it was not the right time for it, you know? And then you find out later, or you cut someone from the team, you know? Because we only get a certain amount of positions each year for national athletes. You have to decide who you're going to put, you know? And I have made wrong mistakes with that as well, you know? And you feel very bad because it's such a big impact for the athlete life.
True, it is.
But again, you know, you admit to your failures, you say sorry, and you try to solve it as best you can, you move on. That's important, yeah. Yeah.
It's crazy that your decision will impact their life, basically. So so only a few spots for the national competition.
National team,
Yeah,
roster.
for the national team roster.
Yeah.
And so this guy's been training, and he's like, you don't make the cut.
Yeah. And then this is sometimes why we, you know, we have a reason also. It's like, okay, we got the SEA Games coming up, and they allow 2 athletes per country for each weight class. Oh, they don't have your weight class, so we won't put you in. Like, that sounds like a good reason, you know, but stuff like that is tricky, right? It's hard. Yeah.
Someone has to do it.
Yeah, but and then even when you do it, it's not always the right. And sometimes there's also a pressure of time. It's like, you know, like, oh, you guys have to, like, you know, we have a deadline, right? So you don't always have all the information and stuff like that. So you do make mistakes, and I think that's also very natural. And yeah, and it's not a bad thing to make mistakes. Yeah.
It's good to be aware of it.
Yeah.
And to not have yes men around you. Someone to keep you in check.
Yes, that's true. That's why I appreciate my coaches and our team and my federation, our board very much, because they will call it out to me. You know, when they think I made a wrong choice, they will tell me, and that is very good.
I want to know what advice stuck with you now, that you've given throughout your. It could be your jiu-jitsu journey, or it could be your entire life.
Yeah, I have one advice that stuck with me, and that came through jiu-jitsu, and which I apply to different aspects in my life.
Mm-hmm.
And that is, when you're pulling off a jiu-jitsu technique, you need to get all the details right first. So meaning, let's say I do a scissor sweep. I need to get my hand in, but I make sure it's deep enough. I need to get their arm so they cannot post. I need to get their balance, their leverage. There's all these little things. I need to get everything in place before I actually do the move. And only when you have all these little things in place, then the move will work. This you can also apply to your daily life. Or let's say you're doing a business, right?
Right.
If you then move for your business, let's say I'm launching this business idea. If you just, okay, I'm gonna launch it, I'm gonna make a Facebook page, name, we're public. It's probably not gonna work.
It's probably not.
But if you get your, your description, if you get your banner, your team, you get some videos done, your photos done, so that when the moment you go online, when you launch, everything is there. All the little details are there. That's when you do the impact, and that's when it works. And that is what I learned through jiu-jitsu, and that's what I try to apply also in my daily life or in business. Yeah.
However, there's a counter philosophy where our podcast did.
Yes.
It was a ready, shoot, aim.
Okay.
So we started by just doing.
Yes.
And we'll improve along the way.
Yes, very important as well. Yes.
So there's a middle ground, I think.
Yes. And I think it's the same in jiu-jitsu, right? You just start and you know nothing yet, but then along the lines, I learned that I have to have all these details ready for the move to work.
Mm.
So, yeah. So that's what for me personally, yeah.
Having you repeating the word jiu-jitsu,
Mm-hmm.
I've always wondered, how do you spell Brazilian jiu-jitsu?
So I'll just tell about jiu-jitsu because it's a little bit confusing. So for our Jiu-Jitsu Federation, we spell it differently than Kiri Jiu-Jitsu.
Yes.
Okay, so Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, you spell J-I-U, J-I-T-S-U. And for the Jiu-Jitsu Federation, it's without that first I. It's just J-U. Mm. The reason that comes from is that the Jiu-Jitsu Jiu-Jitsu International Federation, they come from a Japanese aspect. So they were already operational long before Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu got invented. So when you talk about Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, it's literally what we're doing at Kiri Jiu-Jitsu. But in Japanese Jiu-Jitsu, there's a lot of different, how do you say that? Disciplines. You have fighting Jiu-Jitsu, which is kind of like a karate mix with Jiu-Jitsu. Mm-hmm. You have like a demonstration Jiu-Jitsu. So that's just, a different way of writing. For our federation, we decided to go with the traditional way because our Jiu-Jitsu Federation, we also include those other disciplines. Right. So in our Jiu-Jitsu Federation of Cambodia, we not only have Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, which is, yes, the biggest part and it's the most popular sport worldwide. We also have the demonstration, it's called Duo Show, and also the fighting Jiu-Jitsu, which is like a point system Jiu-Jitsu karate thing. It's kind of like MMA, but you cannot use power. So you kind of like karate, you punch, you bring it back, you get a point. Okay. And then the moment you start grappling, you cannot punch again. You get a takedown, you get points. And when you go on the ground, you cannot punch, but you can submit. And when you stand up, you start in part 1 again where you can strike.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I swear, I saw, it's called slap jiu-jitsu. So
no, that is called combat jiu-jitsu. Okay, combat. And that is totally different. Okay. So that's basically Brazilian jiu-jitsu where you can open palm strike people. Yes. So you can only slap. And guys, open palm strike, it can be very effective.
Where?
You want to strike right here at the bottom of your palm.
Here.
Yes.
This is solid, by the way.
That's solid. You can knock out someone with it. And if you guys know Bas Rutten, he's a Dutch martial artist, which inspired me to start training jiu-jitsu, pick it up back in the days. And he was fighting in a Japanese promotion, was called Pancrase, Pancrase. And it was kind of like MMA before the UFC was there. They were wearing a little bit protective gears. It was in a ring in Japan, and the crowds were like 50, 60,000 people were watching. It was huge in Japan. It was #1 sport. But they had open palm strikes. So you're not allowed to punch with your fist, but with palm strikes only. Mm-hmm. But they can be very effective.
On the ground
also,
as well?
On the ground as well. And also, it protects your hands, because if you punch with your knuckles, you can hurt your knuckles very badly. But your palm, it's most of the time okay if you do a palm strike. So I'm
rock solid.
Rock solid, yes.
Ah,
yes.
okay.
Yeah.
So it's like this, and you can just
Yeah, just hooks. You can do everything with it, combos and everything like that. Yeah.
Okay.